Hello. Can everyone hear me on the thing? Great. So hello. So we're going to do a bit of a trio on this. We're going to be jumping around. Thanks everyone for coming down. One of the last sessions of this amazing conference. So thanks for your time. So we've got Dave Tyler, who looks after our partner development program. So any questions, you can send them to him. We've got Paul, who's an amazing software architect over from California. He's been working on protools for many years. And I'm a product manager for Sibelius, as well as the SDKs across audio as well. And we've all been here for Avid for decades. So we're going to talk about an exciting new thing that we're releasing early in the year. That will be brand new news that we're breaking today. I'm going to go through a bit about this scripting SDK that we announced exactly a year ago and what we've been doing since. Paul's going to give a little deep dive into that. And then we're going to show you a few of the fun things that we've been cooking up on the AI front across our products as well. So over to Dave for the Dave slide.
Thank you. So I'm hijacking the beginning of this session because this has got nothing to do with scripting, but I'm hoping that with all these amazing people in the room, this will be useful information for you. So we are working on the introduction of AX MIDI plugins. So this is an extension of the AX SDK to allow you to create MIDI effects running inside Pro Tools. So this is something which is planned for next year. But for you as developers, I just wanted to encourage you, if you create MIDI plugins, if you know anyone who creates MIDI plugins, please get in contact with us. We'd love to see as many as possible when we launch this new feature next year. So we're actively working on this now. We have some early versions of Pro Tools which you can try out if you have a plugin which you want to run in there. So anything to do with MIDI effects and so on, as I say, please pass the message on. And the email address, nice and easy, audiosdk@avid.com is the one to use. That's also a useful address to know for any sort of queries about the development partner program and so on. So yeah, please make use of that address. Thanks very much. And I'll now resume the program that was advertised.
Thanks, Dave. All right, so great. So scripting SDK for Pro Tools. This is a free SDK that we are handing out. You can get it from developer.avid.com. And we've had over 1,000 signups. If it's been you, thank you. If it hasn't been you, then you can go at it. And we've seen it being used mainly in-house. A lot of post-production houses using it to automate mundane tasks of moving media around and opening sessions and archiving and that sort of thing. But we've also seen it in lots of commercial applications. And if you haven't even sort of seen some of the things coming out of SoundFlow and things, then do check it out. There's a lot going on that they've got on their roadmap to support more of our scripting. And Christian's here as well, so if you haven't seen him, then do have a chat with him. So we are tying our releases with Pro Tools. So there's a bit of a chicken and egg when things can be done for the SDK. There obviously needs to be a hook on the feature on the Pro Tools side, but then there needs to be a call that the SDK can actually make. So there's a bit of toing and froing with the team that we've got writing SDK calls into Pro Tools. But essentially what we're trying to fill out the gaps where anything you can do with a mouse, where you can tell it to go and do something, select something, move something, copy, paste it, then you should be able to do that with the SDK. So we're not done yet, but it's certainly something that we're trying to flesh out. So we've got another one coming in December that will I can talk a little bit about as well, and that's going to mark our 5th release for the SDK. We're pretty proud of where it's going. So as I say, it's free, it's open. Anybody can go and download it. It's really used in a few ways. If you've got an AX plugin and you want to directly interface with Pro Tools more to tell it to do things and get information out of it, then you can put it directly into your plugin. it's not just for remotely controlling Pro Tools from an external app. A lot of people are using it just for that, and we haven't seen a lot of direct usage from within AEX, but that's totally fine. And I think when we talk about scripting, it's more sort of remotely controlling. So it's only natural that people would do that. There's when you download it, there's lots of little resources that come with it. And there's an example where you can literally just have a text file and you can just tell Pro Tools to do stuff. And you just list the commands, run it, and it just does it. It's really, really quick and easy to get up and running. And the communication is over protobuf sockets, and that's all through gRPC. And it's really very simple for communication bidirectionally from Pro Tools and the app that you're creating. And it is local only. So you can't remotely control it over the network, but if you have a little application running on your local computer, you can talk to that. So if you have an iPhone app or something that will just have simple transport controls to stop or record or play or whatever, then that can talk to your app locally, which then can talk to Pro Tools. So lots of applications that we've seen going. So for a deep dive, I'm going to hand over to Paul, who actually knows what he's talking about when it comes to code and stuff. So yeah.
Hey, everybody. So I wanted to demo just relative ease of using the scripting SDK with something that came out of a hackathon that we have at Avid a couple times a year. Developers go wild, do fun things. This one is a ChatGPT integration, and it's amazing to see just how easy they were able to put this together. We want to share a little bit about it. We'll give a little demo and also plant the seeds in case folks are thinking about creative ideas for add-ons, ways you might interface with users that you can get when you integrate with some of these large language model tools that are out there and are relatively easy to use. First, just a quick chat on the. Let's see, can we do that? Quick just discussion on the scripting SDK. Scripting SDK has it connects by socket. You can either control it from within a plugin or within your separate application, or just from a script. There's no development environment for it. It's just under the hood for customers. They need it. If you want a full development environment to write scripts, of course we happily endorse SoundFlow for doing that, and encourage end users to go there. If you need to connect at a lower level, or for instance, if you have a plugin that you'd like to have more deep integration, such as a plugin that also interacts with a timeline, does edits, automates different kinds of workflow tasks, then directly integrating with the scripting SDK would be a useful path there. Editing commands cover variety of different sections. We're constantly adding them. If customers have, or if developers have areas they want to get into, just send us a note. Happily add more. Now, for today's demo, we took the commands that it runs on, and several of our team members put this together with using ChatGPT's APIs, and put together a little assistant in a really short time. We'll give a little demonstration here. So we've got Pro Tools running. This is connected on a live instance we have a private instance of ChatGPT running on a Azure Cloud instance. We've got some embeddings that we've created for this that we've fed it, for instance, the Pro Tools user manual, various quick reference guides and things like that, plus the syntax for the scripting SDK. So it knows how to, we've taught ChatGPT to issue scripting SDK commands, which is kind of fun. So let's try something. Let's select, let's see, how about the lead? No, how about select all clips on lead vocal track. And it goes off, sends it off to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a little bit delayed there. Boom, it selects that. We can, copy to clipboard, select. You get the idea there. You can issue commands, copy and paste, move things around, perform edits in natural language, which is fun. There's a follow-on hack that I wish we had today, but it's got speech recognition and synthesis additions that OpenAI have that make that whole process even more seamless with spoken instructions. Okay, so how's this work? We'll take a quick look. So we've issued issued those commands up to ChatGPT. They're wrapped in a set of prompts that we put together. Let's pull those up here. So to begin with, there's an orienting prompt that we've put together. Can we read that? So it's we basically told in plain English, told ChatGPT to act as a AI assistant. So it can do a combination of both answering questions about Pro Tools or issuing scripting language commands within this prompt, which is a little bit long. This is the context in ChatGPT for doing that, and it issues two responses when it replies. So we issue the user's request in plain English. Up there, we get the response back. We parse it out into two different parts, two different components, one of which are potential scripting commands, which are then forwarded to the scripting server that's built into Pro Tools. The other piece are the user response text, so it can tell you what it's doing, what the answer to your question is, and so forth. So without too much effort, we were able to get the basics of this running. The team that did it just worked on it for a short time. We put a little polish on it, but that was basically it. It gets you thinking about what the possibilities are for tools like this. We can do other questions here because the instance, ChatGPT has the concept of embeddings. You can feed it long pieces of text that it'll train on, so it can then refer to. That's separate from the prompt text. So that's where all the reference material has been fed in. So we can ask, let's see, something obscure. How do you convert a track from samples to ticks? Give it a moment. ChatGPT is not the fastest. Oh. Let's try reset. It always happens in the demo, right? It always happens in the demo. Let's see. How do I trim clip? Give it some time. There we go. It talks about our tools. To trim a clip in Pro Tools, you can use the loop trim tool, the scrub trim tool, but multiple variations. It gives links to the documentation and where you might find the answers. And so it's able to distinguish between prompts that are just general questions about how to do something versus ones that are going to have an accompanying scripting command. So it's a lot of fun how it can distinguish that. Let's see. So this is the prompt text that we've used. The other piece we fed it just in JSON, the syntax of all the commands. So put together. It's got each command. It's got the parameters and so forth. So we taught it how to speak scripting SDK. So this was relatively easy to put together. If we can put this together in a hackathon, experienced developers like you all could probably come up with amazing applications that use all these basic tools. So so that's our little demo. We'll be taking questions at the end, but Sam wanted to cover a few other things. Oh, I had one other. Here's a demonstration of just the architecture, in particular the embeddings that we have fed into it, run there. This concept we show here applied to Pro Tools, but we're doing this at Avid to all the various applications where you can have both information sharing as well as automation using natural language. So it knows how to speak to Media Composer, to Media Central, our media management systems, and you can issue in plain English commands that automate those and issue commands to the various automation APIs that those ones offer. So back to Sam here for a little more overview on the other applications that are happening, other things happening at Avid connected with machine learning.
Yeah, a few things. I just wanted to cover a bit more about the scripting SDK. Yeah. So there's a developer.avid.com, as I mentioned earlier, /scripting will take you straight there, or /audio if you want all of our other audio-related SDKs. So once you get up and running, there's a C++ wrapper. Then the stages that you go through are all in the documentation, but you essentially have a nice little example application to get you started, which establishes a connection with Pro Tools. We used to have a system with certificates. So if you signed up early, then you would have experienced that. We've actually taken it out of this next release as the first one without it. So if you're still using certificates, you need to move over to the register connection API. Otherwise, it won't work. But as soon as you've set that all up, you can just start issuing commands. So it can take more than one thing at a time. So something we could do is with our little chat interface that we've just seen, you could say, create a brand new session called this, save it there. I want 20 stereo audio tracks, 2 MIDI and 2 instruments, go. And it just does it. And it doesn't need to sort of wait and sort of clarify anything with you. It can take all those inputs and just create a session for you. So if you want to automate those things through that interface, you certainly can, or you can create a little application with a big button that just does it for you. So yeah, lots of possibilities. Just to, the last time you were here, we probably just said it's going to do a few things, but since then we are now native silicon. There's lots of catch up with Pro Tools features. So generally what will happen is that the main Pro Tools team will integrate lovely new features. The SDK team can't really work on them until those features are complete. So we're always playing a couple versions of catch up. So there's a lot of support here for things that were released in the previous year, but also catching up with what's coming or what's happened already. So track markers is something that we introduced earlier this year. In our December release for Pro Tools and the SDK, we're going to be able to support those. So you can interact with them. So you can find them, you can remove them, you can add them. Adding support for video and setting track attributes. So at the moment you can get to the track level, you can't actually interact with clips yet. So next on our list is clips. So we're sort of going down a layer. And then once we have clips, you can do all sorts of fun things then. All right, yeah, and if you need help, there's obviously the documentation that's built into it. There's a knowledge base article that has general FAQs. It's quite high level, doesn't really go into too much detail. But then there's a dedicated support forum, which our engineers sit on, and they help you out with all sorts of questions that you may have. And people there have offered other other resources to download as well. So do check it out. Yeah, and if you're interested in becoming a beta tester, you can talk to Dave on audio SDK at avid.com. Yeah, so that actually gets you the Pro Tools beta as well as this beta, because they go hand in hand as well. All right, so yeah, we've already had one sort of tech preview, and the chat instance isn't something that we've released in Pro Tools, so you can't find it, nor are we really going to start releasing it anytime soon. It's very much a proof of concept, but we've been able to take this and put it across a few of our applications. So we've got Media Composer and Media Central and Pro Tools, and I'd love it in Sibelius one day as well. And it's a way of interacting with the application, if anything, for accessibility. So you can talk into a mic, get your text in there, control it. No one's going to sit there and type the word playback. You might as well just hit play or smash spacebar. But what you can do in other applications is even do some speech to text and the other way around as well. Find clips within a scene within Media Central. Say, find the section about a joke about a car or something, and then it actually goes and finds that clip for you, or multiple clips. You find the one and drag it into your timeline and so on. So there's some pretty cool things that we're looking to do. We've branded it Avid Ada. So all of our AI real estate, as it were, or IP, is all under the Ada brand. And we're looking to be a co-pilot. We're not looking to actually replace the creativity. We're not going to be generating music or auto mixing or anything like that. It's really assistance, so saving you time. And one particular thing that I'm very proud of, obviously. So I've been with the Sibelius team for years. So I'll give you a little flavor of what we've done on desktop so far, and this is coming to mobile soon. So we've trained a little AI model on hundreds and hundreds of scores, mainly classical music, because they're public domain. So jazz and so on is just on the cusp of being there. So this is quickly analyzing some music, then running a separate plugin to generate chords. You can it plays back. Nice. Out. Yeah, so this is just a really quick way of generating music. So from a simple melody, it's done some harmonic analysis, and the model all runs locally on your local computer. It doesn't send anything to the cloud. And also it's opt-in as well. And we're trying to be very responsible and ethical with our use of AI and where the sources come from and how you opt in and so on. This is coming to mobile very soon. By the end of the month, we'll have the ability for Sibelius to be on iPhones and iPads, which is there already. But what we're adding is this data-driven workflow, where as soon as you enter a chord symbol, it'll do the harmonic analysis and give you the most probable chord. You would have noticed there's, if I can sort of click and maybe pause, yeah. So there's these little grey dots above here, indicating there's more than one flavor of chord that might go there. This could be A minor, it could be, D major or something. It could be anything really, just because of one note. But on mobile, we've added the ability to actually tap on these little grey buttons, so you don't need to have a keyboard attached to interact with it. Yeah, and we've got some really nice, cool little workflows that we're cooking up to make it nice and fast. All right, and then I think after this, it's going to start playing back. How do we go to the next slide? There we go. Oh, this is our backup, just in case the remote didn't work. And I think we've got another one as well. Yeah, who are you? That's a very good question. There we go. Yes, and this is actually a demo of creating. So can you create a 48K 24-bit session called this with that, and it just does it. It's all nice and fast and fun. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so we've got a few minutes for Q&A. Hope that was interesting. Thank you. All right, everything.
Yeah, thank you very much. Fantastic additions, I have to say.
Thanks. It's really inspiring. I've got a lot of ideas of how this could be used. One thing that I'm wondering about is I can send commands over protobuf. Can I also get events back? Can I subscribe to events?
Yeah, so it's in one of the upcoming releases of the scripting SDK, but getting notifications about, let's say, modifications to tracks. There's a big list of upcoming features. But what kind of notification in particular were you thinking of?
Yeah, like so if I'm doing an alternate editing interface and I'm moving clips around tracks and stuff, I also want to hear if the user has jumped over to Pro Tools and done something there that I need to be aware of on my end in my app.
Yeah. Actually, those are on the list.
Okay, cool. Also, one thing you said you had a C++ wrapper. Are there other wrappers?
Yeah, I meant to address that. So there is right. We have a C++ wrapper. It's written with Google protobufs. It's very easy to make your own. Your own wrapper from that. The interface itself is language agnostic. One of the developer, Jamie Hart, I want to call him out, has put out a Python language wrapper for the Pro Tools scripting language. It's up on scripting SDK. It's up on GitHub. You can find it there. It would be trivial to create language wrappers for any other language that protobuf support, like Rust and a long list of your favorite languages.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Do we have more? Yeah.
Thank you very much for the presentation. So in my mind, the way that AI will hopefully assist us in 10 years is in a way that it would not be a kind of black box, how it currently often is, where you put in something, then you get audio out. But I would hope to have AI assistants in my DAW, like Pro Tools, that kind of analyzes the audio and tells me, hey, maybe you got a little bit too much going on down there in your low end, or maybe the balance isn't just right. So I was kind of hoping for something like this to come out of this talk, to have like some way to not just get events out, but also be able to feed the MIDI or the audio, or all of the parameters of plugins even, for example, to the AI so that it can give some pointers on how to improve the mix. Is that something that you're working towards?
We would love you to build that. Rather, we want to provide the tools to make that possible. And so the scripting SDK provides access to the session, allows you to look at what's in there, look at the timing, with forthcoming updates, look at the audio itself, do some analysis on it, think about timing and even how the mix sounds together. There's a lot of possibility, and yes and yes to all
Amazing.
of that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we are too. We think there's a lot of great stuff that's going to be possible here.
Yeah, there are quite a few. You had a comment. There are quite a few questions also online, right? We're sort of running out of time, so I hope we can make it snappy and you can have time to.
I'll be quickly. Did I hear correctly that you are working, I'm a dialogue editor, on transcribing audio clips?
Yes.
I thought I was hallucinating. Would that also work on like your whole production sound folder? Because that would be amazing to search for all takes and stuff like that.
Well, that's good feedback. So Media Composer has had text to speech, and we want to expand that to all the all of our products. How to use it in terms of how do you interface that's within Pro Tools. That is, is it a text track? Do you want to be able to do text copy and paste versus librarian types of functions where you want to have all your dialogue, and find that one scene where the actor talks about this, or find these lines, or find all the alternate takes of hidden lines. Yeah, absolutely, and yes, that's high on the list.
Thank you very much. Let's now look at the online questions very quickly.
So there's a online question from Craig. He's a macOS developer. He wonder protocol buffers are not a common thing. Is there any way to create a simple sample Mac app?
A simple, like a standalone app that uses the scripting SDK?
Yes.
Absolutely. You know, at the simplest one, you could even just write a Python script that that issues command. That'd be the dead simplest one. A simple Mac app. We currently ship with a C++ interface, so that would be absolutely easy for a compiled Mac app.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Any other questions?
Here's another one from Stefan asked, may I put my own Pro Tools SDK Swift wrapper open source on GitHub?
Oh, Swift. Just email developer services and they'll hook you up. That's what Jamie Hart did with his Python wrapper. But yeah, a Swift wrapper would be great.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. I guess that's it. We'll have to make sure we can make it to the keynote on time. Please reach out to Dave, Paul, and Sam if you have any other questions after the talk, and please give a big hand again.
Thank you.